Before you even enter, you can feel the sound pulsating through the door like a beating heart. Ba-bump, bump, bump, ba-bump, bump, bump. Your body resonates with the rhythm that's bringing life to whatever is happening in there. The door to Waresville Records, my husband Mark's professional recording studio. That place was alive, every instrument a vital organ in its harmonious body. Drums, the heartbeat, thumping with life. Guitars like muscles flexing as the sound moved where it needed to go. Microphones like ears capturing even the smallest, faintest sound that translated a vision from a musician's mind into a musical masterpiece. And the heart of it all, sitting at a massive mixing board, my sweetheart, smiling from ear to ear as he breathed life into the machinery that creates something from nothing and then infuses it with the artist's soul and his own creative energy. But none of that would have been possible if Mark hadn't received a lung transplant 8 years ago. And I am grateful every single day for the donor of those lungs. I'm pretty sure it's a woman who lives on through my husband, because after the transplant, he started doing things like wanting to go shoe shopping at the mall. And he started putting the toilet seat down. But then the music died. Nothing left but a studio that sits in silence, a lifeless carcass of what was once alive and thriving. Nothing left but me to dissect and distribute its parts to the highest bidder. My heart said, Linda Marie, you can't do that. You need to keep the studio intact, a place to visit, a memorial to honor him. My brain said, get real, Linda Marie. You can't afford the cost of the space, much less the cost to maintain this delicate, sensitive, expensive equipment. And let's face it, you have no idea what any of this stuff is. You don't know the difference between a bass guitar and a ukulele. A Tascam CDR W700. Is that a piece of equipment or a Star Wars character? You don't know. Mark left me with 58 guitars, 2 drum kits, a wall of percussion instruments, 3 keyboards and a Moog synthesizer, 72 microphones, and hundreds of pieces of recording equipment, all mounted in skeletal racks that lined every wall. And that was just the first room. He left me all of this, but you know what he didn't leave me with? Passwords to the 5 Apple iMac Pro computers that ran the whole place, and all the passwords to everything else, like Netflix and Hulu and QVC. No streaming or shopping for me anymore. A side note, before you guys go to bed tonight, please write down your login and passwords and leave them somewhere where someone can find them if you don't wake up tomorrow. Eventually, I knew what I had to do. Mark's musician friends helped me create a 212-page catalog of equipment and instruments. I posted it online where recording engineers and musicians hang out, and right away, messages started coming in. Some of them were questions. Others were lists of what people wanted and how soon they can pick it up. I even received a few marriage proposals from homeless, unemployed, broke drummers. Not today, Ringo. What followed was a revolving door of activity. People walking in with cash and lists and walking out with recording equipment and instruments and a smile on their face. But I wasn't smiling. With each piece of equipment or instrument that went out that door, a little piece of my heart went with it. It was the hardest thing I have ever had to do. And then the phone rang. A guy out in California that had bought a guitar wanted me to know that he could feel Mark's creative energy in it. And he was so honored to be able to carry Mark's musical legacy forward with that guitar. A recording engineer messaged me that the microphones he'd purchased were bringing new life to his studio. And Reggie from Mississippi called to say he found handwritten notes that my husband had taped to the bottom of the massive mixing board, and he was learning from reading those notes and studying them. I had to ask him, Reggie, hey, do any of those handwritten notes look like passwords? No, they didn't. But everyone that reached out to me expressed their gratitude, and I started to realize something. Mark isn't gone. Just like that donor lived on in my husband, he now lives on, bringing life to other studios and his creative energy to musicians that now play the instruments he once held. And it makes me wonder, what if we gave just a little piece of ourselves away every day while we're still here? Just a little piece of our hearts to someone that needs to feel loved today. Just a little bit of our ears to someone that needs to feel heard. Our arms to someone who just needs a hug. I bet if we did this, we would live on forever as just a little piece in the hearts and minds of all the people that we've touched. So find someone today who needs just a little piece of you, maybe a hug, and give it away so that you can live forever. If you do this, I feel pretty certain that just like my Mark, your music will never die.